So let me ask you a question. What really makes a family? Is it just about blood relatives, or is it about the people who actually show up for you, the family we choose? Today, we're diving into a story that really gets to the heart of this, and it all kicks off with one absolutely stunning statement.
In this house, the maid is becoming the daughter-in-law, and we are becoming maids. Wow. Just let that one sink in for a second. This isn't just a simple complaint, right? This is basically a declaration of war inside a family. It signals a complete upending of roles and respect. So what on earth could happen inside a home that would make three daughters-in-law feel so completely replaced?
All right, let's meet the key players in this drama. First up, you've got the mother-in-law, the Sauce, who feels totally invisible in her own house. Then there are her three daughters-in-law, Ratna, Suman, and Neelam. They're there in body, but not in spirit, just lost in their own worlds of phones and TV shows. And then there's Kamla. She's the maid, but she does so much more than clean. She's the one who steps into that emotional gap the family left wide open. And when you lay it out like this, the difference is it's staggering. Look at this. The daughters-in-law, they offer zero. No daily chats, no helping hand, no emotional support whatsoever. But Kamla, she provides all of it. The conversation, the physical care, the simple companionship. This isn't just about forgetting to do chores. This is about neglecting a human being. A really fundamental connection was missing, and it was being filled by the most unlikely person in the house. So what's really driving this kind of neglect? Well, it comes down to a specific kind of personality, what we can call the entitled archetype. These are people who think their position in the family is a right, not a responsibility. The daughters-in-law felt they were owed respect just because of their title, but they didn't feel any need to provide the care and love that actually earns that respect. So their neglect wasn't just them being lazy, it was a core part of how they saw the world. And how does that entitlement turn into actual hostility? Well, it starts with the small stuff, doesn't it? Every little kindness the Sauce shows Kamala, like praising her cooking or giving her an old suit, gets twisted into a personal attack. They see it as a threat to their status. And then, when their own husbands just brush off their complaints, that resentment gets deeper, and they become convinced that this outsider is a problem that needs to be solved.
And this is where things take a really dark turn. When their entitlement feels threatened, they don't look inward. Nope. They team up to tear Kamla down. And look how calculated it is. This is a coordinated, three-step plan to ruin her reputation. They undermine her work, they literally create messes to frame her as incompetent, and they lie to the neighbors to isolate her. They're manufacturing a completely false reality, all just to protect their own fragile egos. Now, in complete contrast to all that, we have Kamla. She represents a totally different archetype, the daughter by action. She doesn't have the official title, but she absolutely lives the part. She gives that comfort and companionship, not because she has to, but because she makes a genuine human choice to connect.
You are truly my fourth daughter-in-law. This is the line. This is the moment where everything shifts. With these simple words, the Sauce elevates Kamala beyond just being an employee. She officially welcomes her into the family. This isn't a title that was just given. It was a title that was earned through real compassion. It proves that the bond they built was so much more powerful than any formal label. But this beautiful declaration of love, it just pushes the daughters-in-law to their cruelest move yet. They frame Kamla for stealing. This is their last desperate gamble to get back control. They create a crisis that forces a choice. And tragically, the sons side with their wives, completely dismissing the 15 years of trust their own mother had in Kamla. And with that single choice, the family just fractures.
The second Kamla is gone, the reality of her absence hits like a ton of bricks. The very next day, the mother-in-law doesn't get her morning tea, she misses her medicine, nobody makes her dinner. This isn't just an inconvenience, this is straight up dangerous neglect. It's the ultimate proof that Kamla wasn't just a friend, she was the essential caregiver that the actual family refused to be.
So the family hires a new maid, Savita. And you'd think, okay, the daughters-in-law have won, right? But what happens next is what finally forces them to face a really hard truth about themselves. You're not going to believe this, but the exact same pattern starts all over again. The mother-in-law, still just desperate for a connection, forms a brand new bond with the new maid, Savita. She offers her kindness, and Savita gives her affection right back. And this makes one thing painfully clear. The problem was never Kamla.
The problem was, and always had been, the daughters-in-law's failure to just show a little bit of love.
And seeing her mother-in-law find that same happiness with another so-called outsider, that's what finally shatters that wall of entitlement. Ratna has this huge moment of clarity as she watches them laugh together. The maids weren't stealing affection. They were just filling a void. It was never about their status. It was always about love. Okay, to really hammer this point home, there's one last story that flips this entire script around and powerfully illustrates the very same truth. So check this out. In this scenario, the entitled archetype is the biological daughter, Pooja. She's disrespectful, she argues constantly, and she treats her own mother like an annoyance. But the daughter by action? That's the daughter-in-law, Shivshi. She's the one who actively builds a loving relationship, even asks to call her mom, and she brings harmony where the blood daughter only brings conflict. This just makes it crystal clear. The title means nothing. The bond is everything. Which brings us right back to where we started. What truly makes a family? Is it defined by the roles we're born into, or is it defined by the love we actively choose to give one another? These stories make a pretty powerful case that it's our actions, not our titles, that build the bonds that really matter. It's not about the family you're given, but the family you choose to be. Thanks for tuning in.